Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the React Socratic Dialogue. Deep Thought has tried various themes of Socratic dialogues over the last several years. We've had Socratic dialogues on marketing, HR, finance, design, even social sciences and psychology topics were tried out. But now we're looking at specific concepts of technology, and this is the first of this kind. We're having a React Socratic dialogue. How do we learn React is what we're discussing today. So before we go into the Socratic dialogue, I would like my fellow participants to go in with your introductions. Which team would like to go in first?
We'll go with Team React. I am Paridhi.
Hi everyone, I am Krishna and I am from Team React. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kosnati from Team React.
You could also mention that in the DT ecosystem, what's your role and which organization you work in as well, right?
Hi everyone, my role is data engineer. I work in Vishkarma organization.
Okay, Krishna Vamsi is a data engineer with Vishkarma. Thank you, Krishna Vamsi. Yeah, Nikosnati.
Hi everyone, Kosnati. I'm a data engineer for Wishkama intern.
Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone. I am a research and development intern at DT.
Yeah, thank you, Paridhi. Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Pratibha from Team DOM and I'm the part of research team.
Okay.
Hi everyone, myself Rajnikant. I'm from Team DOM and I work as a front-end developer intern in DT.
Okay, thank you, Rajnikant. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Dia from Team DOM and I'm from Research and Development team.
Okay, thank you, Dia. I would like to invite both the coaches also to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I am Artwa and I'm a growth hacker at Deep Thought and I will be Team Dom's coach today.
Okay, thank you, Artwa. Shagun, would you like to go in with your introduction?
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Shagun, helping React team to explore React much better. I am young explorer in Deep Thought.
Okay, thank you, Shagun. And hi guys, this is Tarun. I'll be your moderator for the day, and I hope you enjoy the discussion today. I hope to keep it energetic. Yeah. So on that note, which team wants to go in with your pitch first?
We'd like to go Team React.
Yeah, Team React, please go in with your pitch.
Hello everyone. We are Team React, and why we're called Team React is something you'll find out by the end of our pitch. So we have decided to explore the concept of React through the React framework, which integrates various learning styles such as research and reading, comparing things with real world examples, attempting things for ourselves, communicating with others, contributing to others, and teaching. Now, the first step of this framework, we'll be exploring three concepts through the React framework, which are carousels for dynamic content, utilizing external libraries, and local variables in React components. Now, the first step, which is R, is research and read. Now, this can involve learning about the basics, understanding why they're used, exploring external libraries, understanding their use cases, and figuring out how to manage local variables in React components.
The next step is E, which is equal. In this step, we compare the concepts that we're going to learn with real world examples. For suppose carousel with a digital photo album where you can click photos, and external libraries with a pre-made photo album, and local variables as photos that you put in the photo album as data. And the next step is attempt, where once you understand the concept, once you know that you can go deep into it, we can go into attempt stage where we can build carousels from scratch, and we can use external libraries to build carousels and etc. And we can use local variables through React libraries.
Then followed by C. So firstly, you join forums like Reddit, Stack Overflow, and share issues experience regarding cursors. There you get to ask and discuss with other people who are experienced, and also learn and also do competitions on forums, which also adds some experience. After getting to grasp the concept, you also teach others. you also teach others and explain to them, and also get feedback from how you have learned and your experience. Then in conclusion, after exploring and innovating, your after exploring and innovating, you get to master React. And thank you for listening to us.
Thank you, Team React. Over to Team Dom for your question.
When you say innovating, what does that mean? Since you are just learning the concept right now, right? So after exploring, how do you innovate?
Can I answer this?
Yeah, Paridhi, please go ahead.
Yeah. So our framework believes in not restricting the learner. We don't want you to keep your ambitions only to understanding
That's
the
fine, but
concept.
how do I innovate is the question. Could you answer that?
Yeah. So once you go through our framework, once you completely understand the concept, you can start coming up with your own ideas for your own projects and create new innovations, create something original.
Okay, got that, Paridhi. You can come up with your own ideas and create your own project. Over to you, Diya, if you have a counter question to that. Yeah. Anybody else from Team Dom who has a counter question to that? Yeah, Rajnikant, please go ahead.
Have you tested your framework in real world? Like does it work?
Do you
Can
mean
I-
have we used it ourselves?
Yeah. Do you have an example that confirms that your framework works?
Yeah, got your question,
Yeah.
Rajnikant. Yeah, Vamsi, please take it.
Yeah, we have did our framework. We taught our framework to the students of St. Mary's, and we explained it through a same framework that we have followed here. So it worked. We made 400 plus React engineers there. So that works.
He's
So
saying
when you
they
say
tried it and they built 400 projects with this. Yeah, Diya, please go ahead.
when you say
Like
competing, doesn't that have a negative notion?
Say which, sorry, which word?
Compete. They said compete.
Okay, can compete have a negative connotation is the question. Would you like to take it?
Can I answer this?
Yes, Nikos, please go ahead.
No, it doesn't have a negative, because after competing, you get to know that you get to explore where you are lacking. So
Got that, Nikos. You have a cross question for that? He's saying you get to know where you stand and you can explore. Team Dom?
so you said that you have created 400 plus projects, but where is the proof? How would I trust you?
I think that's we are going with answer.
Fine, we'll share that to you. Don't worry, or a mail.
We'll share it with you.
We're trying to list it digitally, so when it's live, we'll give you the link. Yeah. But Rajnikant, it'll be nice if the questions can be focused more on the topic. The topic is about, they've come up with their mechanism of learning React. So maybe if we can focus more on that, that'd be useful.
Don't you think your mechanism of learning is just old? Research and read, isn't it boring?
I think what he means to say is like it is very similar to root learning. In root learning, you also read and just definitions, you read them and learn them. So it's similar to that only.
Can I answer this?
Yeah, Paridhi.
Yeah, so the reading and research is just one part of the framework. It's not the entire framework. That's just a part of it.
So,
And
but for a beginner, it starts from scratch, like 0 to 1. How do a person reach there without the root learning? How does that framework different from, how is your framework different from root
So
learning?
Paridhi, if I may add to the question, if your first step itself is not exciting, how would your beginners sustain the interest through the course?
right, so the React framework in itself can adapt to the user. Some people like to go step by step. Some people like to do all things at once. So all these steps of the React framework can run synchronously. Like you're studying the concept, understanding its theory, applying it, getting better at it, then studying another concept and then applying it. So it does not have
1
to be
minute. So
like
when you say R is, by the way the word research has been used, I think I have a problem with it. But maybe that's for a later discussion. But if I remember your slide correctly, you spoke of both reading and exploring. So are you then going to focus more on the reading part, or are you going to focus more on the exploration part?
the R was research and reading. So that involves reading about the concept theoretically and supplementing that with watching, let's say, for example, YouTube tutorials or maybe taking some online courses to supplement that learning. So basically, building a strong foundation of the concept before you implement it and innovate further.
So when you say reading and researching and then watching YouTube videos, wouldn't that be too theoretical and wouldn't that just make the whole process boring?
In
Like I
our
said,
yeah, you go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Research and read study is not only meant to be reading. You can also implement and learn from your mistakes and read again and go through the process again.
That doesn't answer my question. Wouldn't that be too boring? Like you are just reading by yourself, you are just researching by yourself, you're just
But
reading all the
isn't that
theories.
the traditional way in which how people learn anyway?
Aren't we trying to find better ways of learning here?
Okay, can I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay, like I mentioned, when you add like what Priya mentioned, right? You can either start from communicating, when you're joining our forums, you get to ask questions which they're gonna end up forcing you to explore. You're gonna end up reading because somebody might tell you want to create this, then they tell you, okay, you have to do this. But basically you're gonna end up reading, not saying you just have to start reading and implement it on the visual code. You can join the forums, then you see what interests you. Then it's just gonna force you into researching more into it. Then you end up implementing it by the end of the day.
So does that mean your framework starts with self-learning?
Basically, I think it's driven by motive for it to be 100% efficient. Because if you are motivated enough, then definitely you'll be forced
Then the question is your framework all about self-learning then?
Also, I have
No.
a question to add. If you're saying it is driven by motivation, how is the first step then reading by themselves? How is that motivating to anyone?
No, we didn't mention that you have to start by reading. Nobody said that.
Okay, I think they're saying that in their framework you could, move around. It's not a linear process. You could start with any step that you're comfortable with. Yeah, but I think, Team React, you could have answered the question by saying that it's different from the traditional approach in the sense that in the traditional approach, you're only reading and maybe coding, but you've added the 5 steps, right, which sort of makes it more wholesome. And you've connected them together to show how you could do it as a system, right? And I think in the traditional mode, people tend to do everything at once, read the whole thing, do the whole thing. But I think in parts, you're trying to make them do all the 5 things and then go to the next part. Do event handling, read about it, ask in community, code something, teach someone, then go do something else, complete the 5 steps, then go to something else. So I think, yeah, that's a very interesting approach that you've come up with. Okay.
Yeah, I want to add one more thing. The key.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take 1 minute. The key part is attempt, where while doing all this activity, they'll experience what they are learning. So implementation is one part of this framework as well.
Okay. Thank you. Now over to Team Dom for your pitch.
So Dia, are you going to present?
And one feedback, I think Team React, you could keep this in mind. When you question, it'll be nice if we can preserve the same thread and bring a counter question. That way we go deeper into it than go with so many different questions. And Rajnikant, the intention of questioning is not to prove the other team wrong. Socratic dialogue is a collective deliberation of truth where we bring different perspectives and try to understand it deeper. Like when we ask questions, we realize, okay, it's non-sequential process. We realize, okay, it's chunk after chunk, right? So more, I think, depth came in when we probed it, right? Yeah. So over to you, Dia, for your presentation.
All right, so ours is about React's beginner's guide. We have focused on the conceptual part because that is the very first thing we need people to be excited about. So we have compared React.js to a lot of psychological concepts, and these concepts are very explosive because they can be understood by any layman. For example, when we talk about if React.js is a tool or a thought process, we can connect it with a thought process because like a thought process, whether it's a positive or a negative, it has an impact on our behavior. Just like that, the different components that we use differentiate the end result that we are going to get. So mental schemas are the basically those components. We have compared React.js to mental schemas, which are basically categories. So categories and components. Then the other thing that we have focused on is the variables. We have compared variables with a personal states of a person. For example, how I'm currently feeling affects what I'm going to do right now. Then foot in the door technique is similar to how we divide our projects into smaller and more manageable parts. And external libraries are very similar to the ready-made kits that we get from the market. We have focused in depth on these things.
Okay. Okay, so for the lay audience, for the lay persons in the audience, I think it is a bunch of psychology students trying to map it to something that they're used to in their curriculum. But Pratibha, I think gentle feedback, if you're using too much of jargon, that probably signals that you could do better in, clarifying your own thoughts and making it more available to others, right? You could have explained it in a simpler way, I guess. But anyway, hopefully the questioning will bring the simplicity. Over to Team React for your questions.
I had a question. So, in the very beginning, you mentioned that React can be compared to thought processes, where positive and negative thought processes influence behavior. So, what exactly is the negative in React? Like, how do you describe the negative use of tools in React?
For
Do you have such a
example,
correspondence here?
so there are many components in React that we use. So it depends on which component we are using. If there are 1, 2, 3 component. If I'm using 1 and 3 component, it's gonna give us different result. And if we are using 1 or 2
So her question is, I think you're beating around the bush. Her question is, do you have something such as negative? Like you have negative state and positive state, right? Do you have something such as negative component and positive component?
no, it was the comparison was around like in React we have different components. In thought processes we have negative or positive thought processes.
You feel that it's not a very accurate analogy then?
Would it be then a good analogy?
The analogy is about like thought processes. We have different thought processes. We have different components in thought processes, and just like that.
I could also say that we have different kind of animals, so components are like animals, right? Is that a bad analogy then? You're saying there are different things there, there are different things here. I could say anything, right? There are different kind of golgappas, there are different kind of components. So yeah, I'll make an analogy. An analogy is supposed to bring more parallels than just saying that they're different things, right?
Also, so this was the thought process thing, right? You mentioned there are different thought states and there are different components in React. But then you also mentioned schemas. Now, schemas are also basically different categories of things. So, would you say then that it's all the same thing then? Are we talking about the same thing overall?
So the thought process is basically about our approach, like what component we are using, or what components we are combining
So
together. And
Pratibha, I think you guys are, this is the exact opposite of what we would like to do in a Socratic dialogue. Let's go to the fundamentals. You'll find yourself in a comfortable position if you go to the fundamentals. What's a component? Why do we use a component in React? Yeah, looks like your developer in the team has gone quiet.
So yes, component is a block of code that we can use in React.
Why do you have these components?
Components because we want to reuse it.
They're reusable blocks of code, right?
Yeah.
But why do you write these reusable blocks of code and keep it handy?
It's easier to retrieve it later when time efficient.
Correct. Now, when you say anger, when do you get anger?
Things are
When you
not
feel
working.
creative.
So is anger also a reusable state of the mind?
That's basically like self-defense kind of thing.
Okay. What do you do when you're scared?
Fight or flight.
Okay. So when you're scared, does your body give you a lot of energy? Which chemical is released in your body when you're scared?
Adrenaline.
So are emotions then reusable states of your body where each and every part of your body gets coordinated for the situation? So is emotion also like a component where, you know, every part of the body is responding in a certain way, and whenever any such situation happens, the same mechanism comes in again and again. So why do you think nature put those emotions inside all of us?
Survival.
That's a very vague answer. But why do you need a repeating state? Why does nature give you those repeating states in you?
That's just energy and time efficient. Like you don't have to
You're
just start from
blabbering. You're
scratch.
blabbering. Please think. Please think. Don't just blabber. Please think. Why are we having repeatable states in nature? Okay, in React, why are you having these repeating codes?
Because it's more time efficient.
But my
And
question is, why is that code repeating?
Can I answer this?
Okay, sure. Looks like Team Dom is not properly prepared, but yeah.
So basically, you need a repeating block of code because you know there would be other situations in which you require it.
Exactly.
Similar
Why are so many situations
emotions.
repeating? Why are those situations repeating? Like, let's say you have a button. Would your button repeat? Why do buttons repeat?
because we need it in various situations,
Why do you need a
various
button in various situations?
because it's important. Without a
Why?
button,
Why? Please come out of the BTech student mode into a learner mode. Why? Why do we need button in so many places? What is the function of a button? What does a button do?
Closing something.
Perform an action.
button has different
But
functionalities.
exactly, button lets the user let you know that I need this, right? So because it's very fundamental, it's coming back again and again. So things which are a fundamental need, they tend to come back again and again, right? Because you tend to have a very similar need again. So why is emotion coming back again and again?
Because it is fundamental.
Because those situations come back again and again. There could be a tiger coming in, there could be thunder, there could be different source of fear, but the same situation is coming again and again. So due to evolutionarily recurring situations, emotions came out. If you study the evolution of emotions, emotions have evolved due to evolutionarily recurring situations. So if you think, so there is a natural analogy there. Components have evolved because there are situations where you require very similar UI elements or very similar functional elements, not just UI, but functional elements, right? Where you want a button or you want something where over a hover it glows or something like that. So the same thing is coming again and again. So you could very well write a component and keep it handy so you can call the component. So that I thought, is you could make a nice analogy between emotion and, component. Just that I think the problem, some feedback for your Team Dom. Well, I thought Team React understood what they were talking about. Team Dom, I think you were just trying to plaster some fancy words which you yourself didn't. I'm sorry if I'm being blunt, but it's like you were throwing some fancy words which you yourself didn't understand. And when there were questions coming in, I think we were humbled a bit. It's nice to be humbled, but I hope this is an invitation for us to And also for the folks who did the mock Socratic dialogue before this, I hope this is a feedback for both of you, that you could have done a better job at asking questions. So, but anyway, for everyone watching it, I think a takeaway is when we explain a concept, can we go down to the level, can we go up or go down, whatever you want to call it, to the level of a 5-year-old and not throw fancy language, but understand what we are talking of. Because suddenly I had to ask you guys to go off the answer box and I had to go into the answer box myself when you brought in the analogy. But I thought Team React sort of picked something simpler. They understood it. So they were able to improve the idea through the discussion, while Team Dom tried to attempt something very fancy. And I think that's where you got into a little trouble. So next time, I think my feedback would be start with some simpler idea and build on top of that idea with your questions. So yeah, we'll conclude the SD with some reflections. Who wants to go in with a reflection?
Can I go?
Yeah.
Yeah. My reflection is like we worked hard for it and we did it. I was excited to ask so many questions to the opposite team, but due to the time constraint we could not. But I learned how to take questions and also how to answer questions, and I took some feedback. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Vamsi. That was very generic. I would have appreciated a more specific takeaway. Anyone else?
Yeah, I want to go next.
Yeah.
Means when we discussed about comparing React component with emotions, that was totally clueless for me. Means how we can compare that. But when the question was asked, how we can compare our buttons in a different situation. So button is like a feature or functionality that would come up again and again, and that we can put it into a different box. So that was really exciting, and we can relate it with emotions and React, I would say, code or components.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to go in? Yeah, just to build on what Shagun just said, I thought that was a very interesting opportunity to compare emotions with component. So Rajnikant, just to build on what I was telling you, in college, we tend to memorize things. This is what it is. That's it. I'm not supposed to think about it. But that's not, I think, a nice way to learn, right? So I think in the React framework, you guys spoke of analogies. Your E in your React was, you said equal, right? So I think equating emotions with component was sort of interesting because it helped us push the boundary of what a component is and understand component at a more philosophical level. And also to understand the why of a component, why components came up in the first place, right? Components, I mean, if you think about it, a better analogy, I mean, complicated life, but a better analogy, I think, is subs, right? You prepare paneer, you prepare, chicken, you prepare mushroom and different things and keep it handy. So when a customer comes in, you just choose the bread and choose the, stuffing inside and you're done. So that's what you're doing with components also with React, right? You're making the basic blocks. It's like the Lego blocks, you're preparing them and keeping them ready. So when any situation comes, you just have to combine them and you're able to execute faster. So if you think about it, emotions are the Lego blocks of nature. Nature has induced certain states in our mind, so that when that situation comes, we react with the help of that emotion. We react with the help of the emotion. So in a way, that's what React is, right? Like you have the components, and through components you react to that, user input, and you don't have to change the entire page, just a part of the page changes and you're responding to the user input. So through the components, I think responding to that input gets easier. So I think this stretch that we tried to do through a very complex analogy was interesting because it challenged our mind to understand both emotion at a conceptual depth and also understand components and React at a deeper level. But the unfortunate part was I think the team needed to do more homework to understand what an emotion is, and also more homework to understand what a component is. But I hope this is a good invitation to understand both the concepts at depth. So that's where the equate part becomes nice, right? Through this, we understand both an emotion in a deeper way, and we also understand component in a deeper level. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys knew that emotion is for evolutionarily recurring situations. We have emotional profiles also in psychology. We study things called emotional profiles. Every emotion has a certain profile. So in that, you understand which kind of situations that emotion evolved for. For example, okay, we guys have disgust, right? Why did disgust as a emotion evolve? Why did that evolve?
So that you don't eat something that is gone bad.
Exactly, because the human ancestor would eat a lot of berries in the forest. We had to stay away from poisonous berries and things which are spoiled, or say from excreta and so on. We wanted to stay away. So there's a recurring situation, right, of bad food. That's a recurring situation. To handle that recurring situation, disgust evolved. Why did fear evolve? Because there's danger. When there's danger, you want to stay away so that you don't die. So that danger recurring situation evolved fear. And sometimes you have to take a risk. So courage as an emotion evolved. So for different recurring situations, these emotions evolved. Similarly, the recurring situations, for those recurring situations, you prepare components and keep them handy. Yeah, I mean, I've second Shagun in saying that for whatever reason, the team attempted a complex analogy, and that was, I think, very exciting opportunity to understand both the concept of an emotion and concept of a component better. So on that note, we'll conclude the Socratic dialogue. Thank you everyone for bringing very unique ideas and giving us an opportunity to understand both the concepts better.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll now close the rooms.